Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast where we discuss the movie Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, one bad feeling at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
It is Pete Mummert.
I'm the intern, Gerald Christopher Marcus Porter.
And I'm Sasha Brainerd.
Hey, welcome, Sasha.
Hey, wonderful.
You are another of our beautiful patrons over at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. You're one of the beautiful people who supports this show, and you've been with us for a long time, and we spun the wheel of patrons, and your name came up, and we're very happy to have you here.
I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Awesome. It's
Wait, is that a real Spielberg in there?
What do you mean?
in your
Is your name?
Oh, no. I
Oh.
was just, no.
In your heart.
I almost didn't introduce myself that way because I was like, people are going to think they got Sasha Spielberg on this show.
Well, for one split second. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see if it boosts our numbers. Who knows?
No, I think if there was an actual Spielberg on here, we would just get a lot of yelling. So
Huh.
Yeah, a lot of cease and desist
Jerks.
letters and
Yeah.
sons of bitches. All right, but we are not here to be yelled at. We are here to yell at minute 107 of Crystal Skull, and this is the one that begins with Indy translating that the alien wants to give them a gift, and it ends with things starting to get loud and shake and fall apart.
Pete,
Mhm.
have you ever received a big gift? I mean,
that sounds so salacious when
It
you say
does.
that.
well, I mean,
I got you a
but
big gift right here.
exactly, and this is it's beautiful moment, isn't it? So,
I guess so. Yeah, or it's
Yeah.
leading into it. Yeah.
have you ever received a beautiful big gift?
Well, what I have, like, when I was in elementary school, like a little kid, we would always try to say it, because Indy says it a couple times just by itself. We would always,
Yeah.
after someone in the class would say, like, we would try to get the teacher to shush somebody, and then someone would try to say it, like, right at the same time to try to
I
get
don't
him to
get
say
it.
a bad word.
What do you mean? Classic.
Um,
Well, that's I did. Speaking
Yeah.
of Patreon, we had one of our patrons, like, I don't know, a few months ago or something, asked, or I guess around Christmas time, asked what kind of present we preferred to get under the Christmas tree, a big, huge present, or a tiny little beautifully wrapped present, or I forget what the other option was. And yeah, I think we all agreed that, like, the big presents, the big gifts, physically large, are often not the most exciting ones, as
Well-
Spalco will soon learn.
okay, so is Indy being, is he being sarcastic here, or does he know? Like, did the alien say to him, "Hey, I have a gift for you. It's a big gift"?
I'm still, so I'm, maybe Sasha, maybe you can explain this because I'm still unclear. So is Oxley giving a speech, or is Oxley translating what the alien is thinking?
I think he's just translating.
Okay, so he's translating into ancient Mayan, and then Indy's translating from Mayan into English.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think that's why Indy makes a big deal out of it, because I think at first Indy thinks he's just translating what Oxley himself is saying,
Mm.
but then when he gets to the pronoun or whatever, he's like, oh, it's the skull talking. Oh, okay, it's that
Mm.
alien
Oh,
is
okay.
talking through
Okay.
Oxley. Okay, it
Okay.
wants to give us a gift.
Yeah.
But why? I just, it baffles me why Oxley is speaking Mayan. Like, it has nothing to do with anything in the movie.
Yep.
Like, why didn't they choose Klingon or French or?
Why didn't they choose Klingon? That would have been kind of sweet.
Well, isn't it supposed to be? I don't, well, shouldn't it be Incan? I guess.
Yeah, what should it be?
Well, Incan wouldn't have been old enough if they were
Yeah,
2,000
it
years
wouldn't
ago,
have
but
been.
it should be something
But-
South American, it seems like, not.
Oh, well, wait, is this another example? I know that we've been doing this movie for 3 years, so we might not remember, but Oxley wrote those clues to Indy at the beginning in Mayan,
Yeah.
partially because he knew that only Henry Jones would be able to do
No,
it.
he didn't. He didn't write them in Mayan. He wrote them in
Oh, you're
another
right.
language, and Indy had to walk them
Walk-
through Mayan.
He had to walk it through Mayan.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Oh my God, it's been a long movie.
Literally, none of this makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
I
To me.
want to interject just slightly because what is
Please.
it, Jerry? Jerry, you said a second ago this is the "It's a Beautiful" moment, and you're going to be super happy because in the novelization,
Yeah.
Marion says, "Indy, the eyes, it's beautiful."
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I
But
was,
that's-
I was listening to it at work, and I just like guffawed loudly.
awesome.
doing it, yeah.
But here she says it as a warning, like there's a problem. Like, Indy, the eyes. Almost like, hey, I've been around this carousel once before.
Yeah.
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 But
so,
I mean, as somebody who's watched this minute a bunch of times, and I know the rest of you have, what is she talking about? Like nothing is going on with her eyes.
No, there's
Nothing.
smoke coming out of them.
there's smoke coming out of it.
Kind
You guys, like
of. But
zoom in to see something.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
You know what- you know,
Expect
they
to
do
see like
that-
googly eyes in there or something. But
They
there's
do
no-
that like
they haven't really changed.
1950s horror movie where it's just they just show a still picture of a head to a head to a head to a head
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
head. You know, it's like when you don't
Yeah.
have any money for special effects,
Right.
you just play scary music and show a head at an angle.
It's almost
They don't
like
like-
that Twilight Zone when the woman finds out that she was a mannequin.
Yep.
They just
Oh
keep-
yeah.
Hello, Barbara. They just like keep counting to all the different mannequins. It's kind of like that, actually.
Well, we've talked about nominative determinism on this show. Is this a case of ocular determinism? Like whenever Marion shows up, there's something going on with eyes. Like don't look at him, look
Oh,
at
yeah.
him, look at the eyes, don't look at the eyes.
She's a walking
Oh.
beautiful eye alert.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But I still go back to I don't like Spalko's the one that did the right thing and gave the head back. She did it. She did, and she had a human reaction. She's like, "Can you just imagine what these guys know or what?"
Yeah.
And then I feel like we're supposed to be told that what she demands, what she's asking for as the gift here is bad. But it seems like if you're going to ask for a gift, like this is probably about as one of the better things you could ask for.
Is it maybe because she's just like awful?
I wonder. I'm starting to think like we were wondering why after all these years and months Oxley is not the one to return the skull physically. Like he gets kind of cheated out of that, and maybe the aliens think the same way. Maybe they're like, okay, here's the gift for you. You're gonna get your head burned up or whatever because you took the skull from Oxley. He's our actual buddy. He's the one we connected with, and we can sense that you're not on the up and up. That you're kind
Well,
of
is it just
crazy.
It like I said, it's just a certain. She approaches the alien with this sort of imperiousness, and
Mm-hmm.
she demands to know everything. It's a very Donovan moment. Actually,
It
remember
is.
we just said Donovan, like the ending of Last Crusade. That one bit is a little ridiculous. He just comes in like a bull in the china shop. He's like, "Give me the damn thing, and let me get the chalice, and it's this one. Which one is it? Ah, here it is. Great." And he starts gulping, and you're like, "All right, the guy's been looking for like 50 years for this thing." You know what I mean? He might look around the room. So Spalko has that Donovan reaction, and she just comes right up to the alien, starts demanding, and the alien looks at her with a like,
right.
you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
yeah, it gives her kind of a nasty look.
yeah.
Well, why
so
does he give her a nasty look?
is it only because she's rude?
But I don't think she is rude. I don't even feel like the way she says it is rude. And I feel like
We know she's rude. We know that
Yeah.
she's
we know
a,
from
a
earlier minutes. But
commie mother scratcher, but
yeah. But like God rewarded Solomon for asking for wisdom.
yeah. And
Why,
he
like-
did just say that he wants to give us a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
that
thankful
I don't
for having
get.
his head returned. Excuse
Yeah.
me, it is thankful for having his head returned. But yeah, I don't. I think you
And she's
have to
just
know
like,
that
I
she's the
wanna
villain
know
of the
more.
movie before
And
anything
she's just
bad
like, I
happens.
want to
her.
know more about you and what you know and who you are. And that seems like a very nice thing to ask.
Well, wait
Is
a
she
minute.
saying that? I don't know if
So-
she's saying that. She's saying I want to know. Like you're a means to an end for me. You can give me all the answers to everything in
Well,
the
maybe,
universe.
but I mean, she says, "I want to know everything. I want to know
yeah.
everything you know."
All right. Well, okay, Sasha. Question for you: if you've been decapitated for 500 years, and
We've all
all of
been
a
there.
sudden somebody returns your head to you, are you gonna know who it is? I mean, aren't you going to be thankful and grateful for the person who actually brought you your head back?
Well,
Or
Oh,
you
go.
see what I'm saying? Like, according to the alien, Spalko is the one who returned it.
But I don't see, if we're to believe that they're all a hive mind and that skull has been all over the place and aware this entire time.
Yeah.
It knows what the actual situation is. It's been
That's
listening.
true.
But
That's true.
how hivey is that? That's not that hivey. That's just the skull is sort of behaving individually. If
practices awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's out in the rainforest, or like the whole time it was in Oriana's tomb for 500 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And it's
boring
just
years
like
we call those.
I guess it was like it kind of knew what was happening.
No, but it's
Or-
been like talking to Oxley and stuff,
Yeah,
and like
true.
connecting to him and communing with him and teaching him T.S. Eliot poetry and stuff.
So
Is
when
that the skull talking though, or is that the collective? Like, is the skull going to
Yeah.
be like the skull? It's lights out when Oriana cuts off his head, and then it's lights back on immediately when his head's attached again. Does he think any time has passed? Does he think this is Oriana in front of him?
I feel like he has to have been
Wow.
somewhat conscious because again, he's like connecting with
she,
Oxley.
or it,
Yeah. But could the gift is the alien offering a gift specifically to Oxley, and the gift is that it's going to take out the bad guy?
That's
But
how I think it
Wow.
like. Well, no, because I want to believe that maybe there would have been a nice gift for Oxley, but then Spalko's like, no, for me, and then the
Oh.
alien's like, well, then it's gonna be bad for you. But it's
Yeah.
like really poorly delivered. It's just poorly delivered in this minute. I love this movie, so you can't tell me it's not great. But
That's good to know.
Yeah.
You're burying the lead. Wait a minute. Stop
Yeah.
everything. Enough about minute 107. There's something deeper going on here. That's good to hear that you love this movie.
love it. It is
Awesome.
Oh, I love
my
to hear
fourth favorite Indiana Jones movie, but it's an enthusiastic fourth.
awesome.
Okay. Wow. That's
Yeah.
fun. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't. I feel
Scared.
I feel I've been decapitated.
Yeah.
Well, wait. What? Okay.
Everybody doesn't know.
I derailed you. I'm sorry.
I'm so okay. So, talk about the gift again. Is the gift? I get the feeling that it's like the ending of Siddhartha, where it's like you learn all these things. You somehow have this, or it goes real Garden of Eden. Like, you're gonna the tree of knowledge. So this is the alien is like the tree of knowledge, and they didn't I guess pick the fruit. They replaced the fruit by bringing the plucked head back and reattaching it to the tree of knowledge, and
Or maybe it's like if the Wizard of Oz was the monkey's paw or something, and like everybody gets a gift, but the first gift it gives out is Spalko getting fried because she's a jerk and she wanted to know everything and it fries her brain. And then Indy doesn't get courage, and Oxley doesn't get wisdom, and Marion doesn't get her bar back.
Maybe
That's sad.
maybe it's not a bad gift. Like maybe she gets what she wants, and then she like goes.
Her
into
last
another
thought
dimension.
is thank you
Yeah.
for finally. Hey, there's
Now,
Cher's mom.
I joined
Mom,
the
you're
cosmic
embarrassing
ball.
me in front of my friends. Don't unplug that.
Cher wanted to give us a gift.
Well, Sasha, give us a gift. Tell us
Yes.
why you love this movie.
Oh, it, I grew up, I was born in 85. And so by the time all three of the original, like three came out, they were just rolling pretty much weekly in my home.
Cool.
Good parents and all that.
Nice.
Mhm.
so I just know them all very well. And then 2008 came around, and I looked this up just beforehand. I graduated like the same week of college. I graduated the same week that this came out.
Awesome.
I was like really really tired. Like it was senior year was a hard year, and I think I was in the perfect mindset to just love this movie, because I
Nice.
remember like walking out of theater like that was really good, and look around and there's like not everyone has the same facial reaction, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's weird, like
Say, what'd you think of that, huh?
Yeah.
Right? All right, let's talk about it as we go to the parking lot. What are you doing afterwards?
Guys, come back.
yeah. And then yeah, my sister and I, we quote like quite a bit of it, like pretty often. We're like really into this movie, and both
Cool.
of us know now that other people don't feel the same way, but I'm unshakable.
There you go.
Awesome. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear
That's
that.
the way to be.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay, we have to ask, what's your favorite? Well, okay, what's your ranking of all four, since they're kind of, well,
Oh
the
yeah.
first three were like sort of all part of your existence.
Yeah, I
The
still
whole
have
time,
ranks though. So it's
Okay.
1, 1, 3, 2, 4, or
Oh, okay.
Raiders, Last Crusade, Temple of Doom, and then Crystal Skull.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
And
solid.
so the alien thing then that made total sense. That was coherent, good choice for the 50s.
I mean, alien thing, sure. I would
Yeah.
absolutely agree that looking too deeply into this movie, you find the plot is unexplainable, but
Mhm.
that's okay. And yeah. It's-
And are people too hard on Mutt? Where's your Mutt watch?
I enjoy Mutt. I think Mutt's
Yeah.
great. I
Okay.
don't know that I have really a single criticism of Mutt, other than the same criticism I have for most of the characters in this movie, that they just are not fully realized in a lot of ways. It just feels
Mhm.
like there's one or two missing connections between Mutt and Indy. There's one or two, like 5 or 10 between Mac and Indy. Like there's
Yeah.
just a lack of connection. But I think Shia does fine. I'm sad that he probably won't be in the next one. I'd love to see that. I know.
Hey,
I know.
You know,
our friend Curtis Blaze is a big fan of the novelization, and I started
Yeah.
reading the novelization, and I enjoyed it, and I got sidetracked. But what did you think of the novelization? Are you a fan? Do you think it was better than or as good as the movie, or
I think
filled
it
out the movie?
it fills it out. I think it just creates a little bit more dialogue. Like Marion gets a little bit more to say, and we get her internal dialogue too, so she becomes a little bit more fully realized. There's a really cute moment where it's right after the ants, I think, where Marion's kind of patting Indy on the back and be like, yeah, it's it's been a hard little bit. And he says the thing that I think maybe we've all thought at some point. He says, it's not the mileage, it's the years. And it's just this perfectly timed point in the novelization where I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's nice.
well,
Yeah.
see, you know what? You have given us a big gift. We should relax and enjoy things.
Right.
Just, go have some goddamn fun.
I think the first step in that journey is not covering the minute or the movie 1 minute at a time. I think that's where you have to start with that.
Don't
And
open
we
our mouths.
failed.
Oh no, we're on minute 107, and I listen every week, and I still,
thank you.
I'm still just like, I still love it. Still love it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. For somebody who loves the
Yeah.
movie, that's excellent to hear. I worry that
Yeah.
we're having fun, but are we having fun at the expense of this cockamamie movie, or is it all still enjoyable? But
Well, and I want to say I enjoy this movie. Like, I think if this movie were not an Indiana Jones movie, I would not have problems with it. But I feel like it's different enough from the Indiana Jones that I grew up with, that at least that was in my head, maybe not who Indiana Jones actually is, but the Indiana Jones in my head, it's still sometimes hard for me to reconcile the two.
hmm
But I still think it's a pretty good movie. Like, it's got, I think, issues, but I think overall it's it's fun. It moves along pretty quickly.
I was having fun for the first 45 minutes or whatever. It got a little
It's
weird
hard.
after
It's
that,
hard
but
talking about it like 1 minute at a time.
It
That's not
is.
easy.
Well, Sasha, so let me ask you this. And thinking about this, we got, Marion comes back, her, reprise. So what is Marion's belief system? Because I thought about this for a minute. So she has that whole Raiders of the Lost Ark thing, right? She survives the don't look at it, don't look at it. Then, she goes back, the, bureaucratic fools, whatever, but I know what I got here. And that whole thing doesn't work out. She marries, what's its name?
Colin
Flyboy
Williams.
Colin
Yeah.
Williams. She has a whole nother life, a damn good life, right?
I'm good, really good life.
Yes. So how does she describe to Colin Williams, or when she wakes up and say goes to the noon mass on Sunday, what does is she like, oh yeah, I was really close to God for a minute there. It's nice to be back in church.
Yeah.
Like, we have no idea. We kind of know that Indy, returns back to his office hours. He completely forgets the adventures. He loses all his humility. He doesn't believe anymore in either like a Yahweh or God, or every adventure he has to relearn sort of the I don't know, a spiritual thing or lesson, or that the Shankar stones are real, whatever the hell it is. Where's Marion in these 40 years? Like, does she had Indy's experience, like literally a brush with God, like God brushing all over her. So when she comes and sees this, she goes, Indy, the eyes. It's like, how many more supernatural moments has she had in the last 30 or 40 years? And did they influence her marriage or her life or how she views the world? Or
such a deep question. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's all in on believing. She feels like a pretty open. Was there ever a moment in Raiders where she was like, I don't believe this? Nah, I don't think so. And there was.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
She referred to Abner's little bits of junk, but that probably had more to do with her dissatisfaction with her parenting than her belief in the actual junk. Yeah.
She was smart enough not to peek.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here, she's looking at aliens, and she's been with Indy, for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours, maybe a night. And so back again, she's in the supernatural / interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, how is this familiar to her? Is she like, oh yeah, I remember this.
This is why I broke up with Jones. This one gets weird.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't look surprised. She looks amazed, but she certainly doesn't look like she's disbelieving her eyeballs.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. I don't know how to answer this. Is such a question, but that is my answer.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question. Why it was just the beginning of this we're probably going to be talking about for the next few minutes, but the alien says, we want to give you a gift. It's going to be a big gift. And then almost as it begins, I don't know, giving the gift to Spalko or whatever it is, the whole place starts crumbling and falling apart. And something huge starts happening. Are they, I don't know if this is jumping the gun, but is part of the gift them leaving? Or have they just, they finally got the one head back and they're like, let's get out of here. And we really should give them a gift because they were nice enough to bring the skull back. We got to get out of here though. Like, what is going on? Like, what? I think they just need a light show at the end.
I think the gift changes around. Like, first, the gift is, all right, maybe I'll show these guys everything I know. Right? That's the first thing. Maybe I'll let them in on
one of the things I know is to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him in on the secrets of the cosmos. And then Spalko comes up and she says, "Tell me everything. Tell me that." And she gets all demanding.
I want an Easter egg. I want an Easter egg. I want an Easter egg. I want an
exactly. She's filled with avarice, and so I think at that moment the alien turns to her, And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm exhausted. You people exhaust me."
You take my head, you kick it around
Yeah.
South America. You just
And he's
want,
like,
you want, you
"I'm gonna
take.
give you a gift, all right."
Yeah.
And it's a double. It's a double. He's like, at that point he learns, okay, Spalko's the mouthy one. She's, undeserving. So I'll give her a bad gift. I'm gonna give Indy and crew a good gift, which is killing all the bad guys, and that's a gift for Returno.
Well, I don't understand that because the only reason they kill all the bad guys is because the bad guys don't leave. Like the bad guys could easily have been saved as well if they just left with Indy.
Yeah. And Indy could have been killed if he stayed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if Indy hadn't yelled at everyone to leave,
Hmm.
they'd all be dead too.
Speaking of people who I'm worried don't leave in time, what do we think the Ooga, like what are the Ooga doing?
Oh my God.
Right now?
Oh,
I know.
Oh.
yeah.
Well,
This
they're
sucks. That sucks.
I'm
they
sorry. I just
built-
like
they spent all this
I-
time. We learned in the last minute that they built all of this
yeah.
to help and honor these aliens. And then the aliens are just like, whatever, flipping them off as they leave, and they destroy this temple that they work and preserve with all of their love and gifts.
Pete,
Oh,
I'm going to
that's
make you feel.
horrible.
I'm going to remind you of something to make you feel a lot better. All the Uga were slaughtered a few minutes ago.
Oh, that does make me feel better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Sasha from the future. Tom, Pete, and Jerry were gracious enough to let me record a little bit more of my thoughts post live podcast. Anyways, so yeah, we're talking about the Ooga and how they don't make it out. But I was always under this like glass half full impression that there were some Ooga survivors. Yes, we know the warriors were killed, but maybe some of the others were potentially able to get out. But it brings me to maybe the only criticism I really have for this movie. I am here for the 50s nonsense and the silly Indiana Jones. It's all fine to me. But I think if I had one criticism of this movie that I love so much, it's that Indy doesn't necessarily appear to care about protecting or respecting the local population of the places that he's visiting. What I mean by that is we've seen him respect begrudgingly the Javitos, right, in the first movie. And then we've seen him save the kids in the second movie, which I know he's also after Fortune and Glory. So yes, his moral ambiguity is definitely in question all the time, but it seems like there's maybe a net positive versus this movie where at the Nazca lines, we see him throw the poison dart or breathe the poison dart back into his attacker, which, yes, self-defense, but also he is on their land. So I feel like Indy in 1, 2, and 3 would have maybe tried to figure out a different way to resolve that. And then in this movie, we see him just 100% forget about the Ooga. And I feel like that is somewhat character assassination on the part of Lucas and on his writing and then on the directing of Spielberg. So that is a bummer for me, and that sucks to think about, which is the kind of thing you do when you're looking at this 1 minute at a time, because I really only want to love this movie. Like, I don't want to have any sort of criticism. And I just feel like, again, that's character assassination. That's not the Indy that I think we all imagined that we would see. Like, I have this other idea in my head where he would like look for the Ooga or have figured out a different way to resolve the situation at the Nazca Lines area. Anyways, that's my one and only criticism. And I kind of wanted to talk about it because it sucks. But also, while I am glass half full, fedora half full about this movie, and there's just nothing wrong that I can find in, I would say, 99% of this movie, I think it's worth mentioning that this is a big bummer of a miss on Spielberg and Lucas's part in the writing team. Anyways, back to the other part of the podcast.
Well, so, okay, Sasha, I'm not letting this go. I'm not letting it
Okay.
go. Explain this to me. If Spalko doesn't come through the door at the last minute an Indian crew show up as the rightful returnos, right?
Yeah.
How does this story end? What is Indiana Jones supposed to do? How does he put the head on the skull but do it with a humility that does not get his head blown off like the end of Siddhartha or whatever?
He would have some selfless, humanity benefiting request or desire, or maybe he wouldn't even ask for anything. He'd be like, no, it's enough being in the presence of this amazing thing that I never expected to see in my life or something.
What is supposed to happen, Sasha? What was Indy gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, puff of air was my answer. No. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe, I don't know that Indy wouldn't have asked for something. Like, he has a track record for taking things,
That is true.
but he maybe would have asked rather than I want to know. You know, he wouldn't have like demanded or something.
Could you please tell me where the arc is?
So is this?
I also feel like, Jerry, you've been reading a special edition of Siddhartha that I'm not familiar with, where his head gets blown off.
No, that doesn't get blown
like
off
the
at the end. It's just
Siddhartha
This isn't
Last
your daddy,
Blood.
Siddhartha.
Yeah.
Siddhartha. No, it's I guess. When does Indy? So is Spalko only get the bad desserts because she was rude? Is that it?
I want that to be the answer.
Yeah, I mean,
actually want
I'm dead
the
serious.
aliens are
That's
starting
what
to
they-
sound very human and like kind of petty in a human way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do
Gosh,
we
she's
know that
obnoxious.
she
Let's get
got?
out of here and blow
Do
up
we
her
know
head.
that she got the bad desserts? Like, do we know that what she got was bad?
It reads that way. The movie
But
wants
it does.
This is,
It does sort of read that. But at the same time, like if you just look at it, perhaps step outside of the movie a little bit. She asked to know everything, and she apparently got to know everything. And at
she's
that
like,
point,
she's
what
like
else is?
Decker and Ilea at the end of Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
Wow.
and
Why
they
do you
figure
have to
everything
go
out,
there?
and they go to the next.
Actually, I
the
like
next-
Decker.
You like that movie?
Ilea.
Pete?
Yeah, I do. I'm glad you went there.
Well, but I
Thank
think
you.
so. I mean, the movie absolutely plays it like, you know, her eyeballs are fried and she's dead.
Yeah.
I'm skipping ahead. And
That's
Damn,
fine.
wait, oh no.
but the novelization does, or I think the screenplay too, because I think this is based on screenplay. Like it plays it a little bit more. It's different. It's a little different. For one thing, the aliens are like covered in like decaying flesh when they enter, which I think sounds a
Oh,
little
wow.
more interesting than
Yeah.
shiny aliens.
Yeah.
And then the way that people die, it almost seems like they don't die. It like they kind of float up into that portal thing.
Oh,
And so it doesn't seem like it's necessarily like the end for them. If I'm
So they could-
reading it
Oh.
right.
Just be going like to the other dimension with the aliens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
they're all a bunch of
so
Roy
it-
Nearys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
different.
Wow.
It's different, but it's still confusing in the book too. I'm not sure
Yeah.
I can stand by
All
what I
right,
said.
you know,
100%,
I'll be
but
blunt. Can you safely return the skull? Yes or no?
Oh,
yes, if you're out fast enough.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's all this big gift talk?
Well, gift is German for poison, so maybe since the aliens speak Mayan, maybe they're speaking German
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, they got it all mixed
Yep.
up. Oh,
About to
that's
get a
sad.
big gift.
Why aren't they running? We told them we were going to give them a gift.
Oh my God.
They should be getting out of here.
No, I believe there would be a positive way to get some of that knowledge if you were not there with bad intentions. I think so. If I overthink about it enough, I think that that's possible.
Well, could she have said, "I want some of your knowledge"? Give me some of it.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Yeah. Give me
I
the
wanna
stuff
know-
I can handle without my head exploding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be good. Give me like
Tell me some things you know.
yeah. Give me some stuff I can publish and make my name.
Well, how much do you think the alien would give you some, and it would be like, the moon isn't made of cheese. It's actually just, you're like, I know that. I know that already.
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
that one. Like, would it, you know, would
Yeah.
there be overlap?
Love your neighbors, you love yourself. No, I mean seriously, like the mysteries of the universe. Come on.
Next.
These aliens, I gotta say
boring.
though, these aliens, they don't feel very generous. Like they feel like takers, like because they come here and they steal all this loot
Yeah.
from all over the world, and then like to say we're going to give you a gift for giving up my head, like for basically saving my life.
Mm-hmm.
They make it sound like they've never given a gift before. Like they just seem like
Maybe
they
they
think
haven't.
a lot. They
This
make
is their
the
first
Uber build this
attempt at being
temple.
kind, and it totally backfires.
The
They
only
ruin
love
everything.
you, the only love you have is the love you give away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by destroying everything. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask Sasha: is Oriana a good guy?
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, because going with Pete's theory, the aliens come down here. They're archaeologists, but so they pilfered a bunch of stuff. I wonder, is there some Marcus in the sky? Like, what is it like? Or, what's it?
Yeah.
Orc from Mork and Mindy, and the aliens show up, and they're like, no, they're good pieces. They're good pieces, Orc, or Orc, whatever his name is, and they
Orc from Porky.
Orc. What was his name?
Orson.
Orson. Look,
Yeah.
good pieces, Orson. Like, sure, the museum will buy them. Like, what's the aliens' purpose to come to Earth? Are they showing the Egyptians how to build the Pyramid of Giza, but then it costs them a couple of mummies?
Yeah, I think they are just travelers, like
Mm.
they come and visit other dimensions and other places and grab stuff. And yeah, I mean, maybe again, if we overthink it, they're not so great.
Yeah.
Well, we're also going to see in a couple of minutes they're not actually going to take any of the stuff they stole or maybe
Right.
they bought. But
Oh,
they're just
is
going
it
to trash
true?
it all.
Is that true? I'm gonna be pissed off.
No,
They
get ready.
collected
Really
all
not.
that stuff. They're like collecting, like hoarding, collecting people. So no one else could enjoy those gorgeous, the artwork and the
Mhm.
civilization. You couldn't see it in a museum. You couldn't watch it. No archaeologists were about to learn anything from it. And then they didn't do anything with it either.
No,
Yeah.
they smash it.
Yeah.
Poor statues. Okay, I've got a question from my friend Jerry Porter. We've known each other a long time. Indiana Jones in this minute says that he has a bad feeling about this. Bullshit or not?
That's bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, Sasha, I turn it to you. You are
Yeah.
not a bitter old man who clings to this stuff in ways that maybe he or she should not. How do you feel about that line?
I mean, that was why I started when you emailed me the minute. I was like, oh my God, what a good minute. Apart from, all of the other things, that's great.
All right.
I mean, what good fan service. And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
I was 2008. I was ready for it. And so
Yeah.
every time I smile now, every time. And I've seen this movie a lot of times. So
Why don't we smile at that, Jerry? I'm having a hard time.
I smiled at it.
Did you?
Pete,
Mhm.
you're a
Okay.
lying pile of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what's bothering us, and with all due respect, with Sasha's sanguine nature, I would say, it seems. Oh yes, it's a fun inside joke. It is, and it's kind of it's a nudge and a like. Yeah, that's a great line. They get it, and I get it, and I love Star Wars, and I love this, and I'm happy to be here right now. And
Right.
that is a good way to go through life.
Yes.
Um,
So why can't we do that?
we can't do that. No, we can't
that
do
be nice,
that. I mean, we had to
Wouldn't we be
start
happy?
a goddamn podcast. No, I think that
But he's literally the guy that
it
said the line first. Like, if
Well-
anyone could say it, it seems like it should be him.
it
Well,
well
it was
yeah
him.
it
Point of order. I think Luke Skywalker said it first.
Mhm.
Anyway.
He says I have a very bad feeling about this or something, right? He doesn't say I've got a bad. He doesn't say the.
semantics.
I think
Yeah.
you know what it is. It feels like it. I don't know. It takes it from. It's kind of a little bit what we say, where it takes you a little bit out of the movie, and it's not really taking things seriously, which I think was always my issue with Raiders versus some of these other movies. There's a grittiness and a little bit of a darkness, and it's fan service is terrific. I think they can bludgeon you, or they can drop
Yeah.
they can drop the fan service dead in the middle of your lap, and there's absolutely no nuance.
So you want to see like Jean-Luc Godard or Francois Truffaut or like Bergman directing this. Like you don't want anything like fun. You just want bleak.
You know,
Gritty.
I don't want.
No,
It's not bleak.
no.
It's a seriousness. Yeah,
It's not
a little
goofing
bit of
around.
Yeah,
It's
not
having
goofing
fun,
around.
but not goofing around.
You have to have fun in a very serious manner.
Yes.
Well,
It's
listen. I mean,
serious fun.
anybody will tell you that, like, yeah, comedy and that kind of thing is pretty serious. It's hard. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all supposed to have fun. It doesn't mean it's all dark, but
If Indiana Jones was showing you his car or showing off his car to Marion or something, he said, it may not look like much, but she's got to where it counts. I made a lot of special modifications myself. Would that be all? Like, it feels like it's.
I think it's fine. I think people enjoy seeing that. I think these are the guys that made that. These are the guys that made this.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I
Hey.
think it's
I'm gonna say, Tommy.
Hmm.
Pete is saying this right now because Sasha is also on the show.
It could be. He doesn't want to hurt her feelings.
I do want to say,
Yes.
I do want to clarify. I love this movie, and I know it's not very good. So
Okay.
Okay.
That's valid.
when I say that I love this line, I mean, if at this point all of a sudden Harrison Ford or Indiana Jones got serious and said something, would that take you out of the movie at this point, because nothing's been serious up to this point?
No,
That's not a bad
That's
point.
an excellent question, and the answer is no. This line is on brand with this movie.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
So
It is.
I mean, you're putting me in a very tight squeeze, Sasha. I mean, because then taking the movie in its entirety, this line is appropriate.
Okay, wait. Okay, counterpoint. Because we're getting letters. I can feel the letters coming in.
I hope you're getting letters. You deserve
Why?
letters for this.
Were we upset in Temple of Doom when the club was called Club
No,
Obi-Wan?
we love everybody.
Because
loved
it's
it.
nuance. It's nuance.
It is
it's
nuance,
Not, it's
yeah.
not thrown in. It's something you catch maybe the second or the third time, or your friend tells you that because he
Yeah.
heard it from
It's like
his
R2 and
cousin.
3PO being in the hieroglyphs
Yeah,
in the background.
this is
You don't
one
even see
of the
them.
most, important scenes in the movie, if you will. We're right at the, contrast it to "Don't look at it, Marion. Don't look at it. Whatever you do, don't look at it." Like, that's kind
Yeah.
of scary.
It is.
It's kind
He
of
didn't, like-
scary.
he didn't
Spe-
quote like
speaking
the
of-
Out of Towners or something at that moment or something. He didn't like.
That would have been great.
That would have been
That
kind
would
of
have been great.
Speaking,
He
of,
did- he did-
speaking of all this using your eyes business, we did not use our eyes, and this R2 and 3PO showing up in the hieroglyphs is
Right.
that our friend John Brugan let us know that R2 and C3PO actually show up as tiles in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Which we
laid
did.
eyes on them?
Absolutely.
Can you see them
I have
anywhere?
not.
I have not seen them.
With
Yeah.
all the viewings, I have not looked, nor have I tried to even find a screenshot of it, which I'll probably do right after this. But
I don't think I've ever seen R2 and 3PO in Raiders. Like, I know it's there and I've seen pictures of it, but I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
actually seen it in the movie.
I think John shared a picture of it. I can't remember.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah, it's cool.
Sasha, I have a much larger question for you, because you said something a minute ago. You said, I know this movie isn't that great, but I love it and I have a great time watching it and it's fun.
Mhm.
Explain that life philosophy to me. I think that's what I'm missing.
I know movies like that. There are a lot
Sure.
of movies that you
Yeah.
know
Jerry,
like that that
Jerry,
are
if you
great.
walk
Jerry,
through it,
Rush.
Stop it, Peter.
Well, I don't know. A point could be made, I guess, about that. But go ahead, Sasha. How do you walk through life enjoying things?
Explain
that suck?
yourself.
Yeah, enjoying garbage. No, is it like, I have a good time at Burger King?
yeah. Well, again, circumstantial. It was the right time, and then also, I just love Indy, and
Yeah.
would I have guessed that this is where he would be in the 50s? No. Would I maybe have wanted to see a different version? Yes. But it's good. There's these weird moments, these little moments where like Spalko says something and it's funny, or like it's
I
fun.
love that.
You
yeah.
find the light. You find
Yeah.
the light.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Also,
Did we notice? Oh,
No, please go, Sasha.
do we notice that when Ox at the very beginning of this minute is like saying his Mayan and just delivering it so funny? Does it look to anyone else like Kate Blanchett's about to laugh?
Wait, I gotta look.
Yeah.
Like there's just tiny like twitch of her mouth, and I swear it could just be that she's like, focused. But she just looks like she's gonna break. Like,
Oh my God, she does.
yeah.
She looks
Totally
over at
does.
Harrison
He
Ford.
says
She's
like, yeah, he's like Shiko Bazuko, and at that moment when he says that, he's just like, and that's the take they took, and I just
It's
love
actually
it.
great.
That's amazing.
It's a good minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah.
not a bad minute.
Yeah.
It's confusing and it makes some of us angry, but it's great.
And God bless it, you have fun. And I've
See?
had fun. I've had fun. Yeah,
too.
I've had fun.
Speaking of having fun.
Speaking of having
Yeah.
fun, coming in over the wire.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Hey. Beep, 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 beep. This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Boop.
Beep.
What would Nancy Drew have done?
She would have had a flashlight and she would have
Mhm.
looked concerned. I'm just thinking of those book covers.
Yes.
I don't know. What would she have done?
What would Nancy Drew have done? She would have reflected upon her English class,
Yeah.
her high school English class.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys both are somewhat famous for being very formulaic, and some libraries have even stopped carrying their books because they're so formulaic. There's a feeling amongst some people who enjoy literature that they don't actually encourage a lot of thinking outside of the same plot in each book.
Oh,
But
interesting.
what I find interesting is that I feel like, Jerry, you keep saying you want that in these movies.
The formula.
I don't know
there-
if that's what Jerry's saying.
Thanks,
It's not a
old
formula.
pal.
It's a philosophy. I got your back, Jerry. I'm not going to let him say that to you.
It's a
Yeah, he's way out of line this whole show.
It's an approach. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. It's a
Mayan set.
A Mayan set.
Now, there's Pete Mummert this whole time. He's going, oh, thank God you showed up, Sasha. I've been carrying such positivity, and
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry just snuffed it out of me.
Took us 107 minutes. We finally found somebody who likes this movie.
Bunch of tampers. They just
I
tamp it all out.
I do feel like I feel like all three of us are guilty of this, but perhaps one or two of my co-hosts more than I, of equating our own opinions about things with an empirical
I know.
determination of their value.
No.
That's why I like having people like Sasha on.
I do too.
Who were not alive when two of the movies came out.
I do too.
And so, your experience of them is, I said this about a guest a little while ago, a little more pure. Oh, is your nephew, Jerry. A little more, you're not tied to any nostalgia. I mean, you've got your own nostalgia for it. You grew up with them still.
A little less middle-aged, white guy.
Yeah.
Kind of just
Angst.
having a similar opinion of lots of other middle-aged white guys.
Yeah.
I do feel like you're catching me on a very specific movie. I mean, part of why I'm, listening, I'm listening to this is because you're, the three of you are great. And also I love all of the indie. Oh, you're welcome. I love all the indie movies very much. If this was like a different sequel to a series, I'd probably be all grouchy about it too.
Quick.
Okay, which series would be your which is that you hold too dear to let anything stray in ways that maybe
Say something spiteful.
Yeah. Find your anger.
Well, I could
You
not
like
get
Jerry.
behind. The most recent Matrix, I just couldn't do. I just did not.
I still haven't seen
couldn't
it.
do it.
I haven't either.
Okay.
Oh well.
But I can get behind the second two of that series.
See, I do not really enjoy them, but they're like hate watches for me.
Okay. I like that.
But this
like
fourth
hate.
one, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'll ever do it again. I just could not.
Wow.
I just couldn't do
Wow.
it. And
Interesting.
I
I'm
love
intrigued.
finishing up a series. Like, if I'm going to rewatch all the Matrix movies, I'll rewatch the fourth one. I don't know if I can do it.
Wow.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're so angry. I'm glad you're having a terrible time with that fourth movie. No, I'm not. But I'm glad you were here. This was awesome. Thank you, Sasha, for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you, Sasha.
Very much.
Oh,
is great.
thank you. This was, I mean, this was the best. I told my friend when I got this invite that I was pretty sure I peaked right at that point, and she did not disagree. So
Awesome. We're happy to provide that opportunity for you. And everybody out there, we hope you've had a nice time listening to 107. And if you did, you should come back next week for minute 108 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull here on the Indiana Jones Minute. What's Jones in Mayan? Do we know?
Chico Bazuko.
Okay.
Wow.
Chico Bazuko!